Okay, welcome to the
Typical Day in Real Estate podcast.
and so Aubrey, tell us a bit about what is this podcast? What should people expect about this podcast? What can they get? Why is it going to be awesome? Why is it going to be fun? Why should people tune into this every single time there's an episode?
Yeah, so basically, as you guys know, there's some crazy stories that happen while doing real estate, and so we kind of wanted to share those stories and, hear other people's stories of some crazy and funny things that happen. So we decided to come up with this podcast to where, we could share our crazy stories and we can hear other people's
Stories
stories
as
as
well.
well. So, yeah.
Yeah, so for story number one, Aubrey wanted to. What did you want to do for this one, for this first episode?
Well, I actually was going to ask you because, I never went on showings or any of that stuff because I did more of the computer work side of things. I was going to ask you, I guess, what is your craziest story that you have in real estate?
Mine?
Yeah, your craziest story. Something that happened during a showing, during a closing.
Was pretty bad. Um,
That was pretty bad. I don't know if we
that
can
was
use
pretty
his
bad. No,
name.
I don't know if we can share that one. Oh, I mean, Donna and Shirok was pretty cool. That one was a cool one in general. Oh, dude, I know. The Ashes.
Yeah, that I'd say that one's definitely up there as probably the
That
craziest.
one's the craziest.
Yeah.
That one's nuts, bro.
Yeah, so
Um,
so what happened? Go ahead
so
and share.
long story short, basically, well, not long story short, but basically, this is what happened. So, it was early in my career. I was starting out. I had gotten a couple closings under my belt, and this was kind of one of my first transactions. And it was very, very smooth from the beginning. Like it was pretty great. Like there was really nothing to worry about. Cash, easy peasy, sight unseen. I went and
Mhm.
recorded it. Great condition, flawless inspection, really no problems. Super smooth. It was owned by a religious organization, and they were selling it. And we didn't really ask. I didn't really ask too many questions other than that. And the thing got funky at the closing table, though.
Yeah, so what happened at the closing table? I think it was at like the final walkthrough, right? Like
Yes. So we actually closed at the house, but during the final walkthrough, so like I said, everything went smooth. This guy was great. I met him. He was an online lead, Zillow lead, and I did the video walkthrough. He was like super smooth. But as we're doing the final walkthrough, he goes in the closet and he's like, "Aaron, I think I found the other seller." And I'm like, "What are you talking about, bro?" And so I go up to him, and basically, he is like, "Look at this." And he pulls out this urn in a temporary container, like a sealed container, never opened, with a name on it and a date of 2004. Louis, I forget the last name.
yeah, but mind you, the temporary container kind of looked like a coffee container, like where you would
Yes.
like pick up from the store with coffee grounds in it, and just wrapped with like yellow caution tape.
Yeah. And you could hear stuff shaking inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was intense. But and then two portraits, and so he found this, and we're like, okay, what the heck? So then I am like, all right, let me call the list agent. So I call the list agent. I'm like, hey, we found these ashes. I think they're this. I don't know whose they are. Like who owned the house, and so basically what we found out is that this was the previous owner's husband who had passed away, and she then lived in the house, continued to live there, or maybe passed away somewhere else, but she was living there and his ashes were in the house. And she passed away
Mhm.
suddenly a few months before the house went up on the market, but the religious organization hadn't done anything.
Yeah,
The
they like
sellers
didn't clean it
hadn't
out.
changed a thing about it. So I actually thought that there were people living there when we first showed it because there was like a half done puzzle. There was like dishes that were dry. Like it was kind of eerie when we found this out
Yeah.
because the puzzle was still not done at the final walkthrough.
Yeah.
And so we were like, okay, so this is pretty much how it was when she died. So that's kind of messed up. But so I called them. So then the enlist agent calls the religious organization, and they are like, they basically don't. They're like, we don't want to touch it. They don't want it. They don't want anything to do with it. She doesn't want anything to do with it. I asked my buyer if he wants to just hold on to it in case someone comes by. Everybody's like, hell no, we don't want anything to do with that. So then I'm like, I guess I gotta bring this thing home with me. With At which point I like strapped it into. I like went to McDonald's, got a little quarter pounder meal, put it in the thing. I buckled Louie in the passenger seat, and then I sent Aubrey a picture of how my closing went for that day.
Yeah, and I had no idea what it was because again, it looked like a coffee container with yellow tape. So I was like, "What the heck is that? Like, why?" Also, why did you put your
Well,
McDonald's
we have
next
to
to
pull.
it?
We'll have to pull. You'll have to find that picture
Yeah, and then we'll put it
put it
in.
in because that's kind of cool. But yeah, so then I pull up to the house and I'm like, all right, let me bring Louie in because I'm kind of attached to it at this point. And my dad was staying with us at the time, and he's like, absolutely. He's like, no, 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 hell no, you cannot bring that in the house, no fucking way. And he's like, no, and I was like, what? And he's like, no, 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 that is not good. That is going to be very bad, very bad. And so basically, he wouldn't let me bring it in the house, and then you wouldn't let me bring it in the house.
Yeah, I didn't want it in the house.
He wanted me to throw it away.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't think that you can throw those away. I think that's illegal. And also, I feel bad to throw it away. It's somebody. Like, can't throw that thing away. So yeah, I guess what did we end up doing with it? What was our solution to this?
We just kept it in the car in the passenger seat, and I was just thinking that someone would reach out to me about this.
Yeah, we thought that like pretty quickly after like a family member would contact like the list agent or the buyer and be like, "Hey, can we come collect like some items that might have been left?" But that did not happen. So what did you do since we did leave it in the car? What did you end up doing when, say, you had a customer in your car?
It was initially fine because no one sat in my car. God bless me. It was initially fine because no one would get in the car often, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it did become problematic because eventually someone did have a client that was sitting in the car, and so on that day, I moved it to the trunk.
Mm-hmm.
And this was probably 2 weeks later, and then it stayed in the trunk from that day forward. So much so that you would get a heart attack every time I braked. Gosh, sorry, my apologies. You know how you get a heart attack every time I brake, though?
Yeah, because it would slam into the back of the. It would slam into the back of the back seat, and so every time, like it would, because it's heavy. It was
it was
loud.
It was big. Yeah, I know it was serious.
I felt bad. It was a constant reminder that like we have somebody's ashes in the back of our car.
And everybody's like, "Well, why didn't you take it to the?" You might have to take it on. Yeah, see.
Everybody would ask us, "Why don't you just take it to like a funeral home or something?" We tried.
And I did. Yeah,
we tried that, and they were like, "We cannot take this."
They scanned it and everything. They were like, "This person was fully cremated here, but we cannot take it without like further authorization," which it just wasn't coming. Like they just weren't able to get back to us with that authorization.
Yeah, so then we ended up having to keep it for 6 months. 6 months we had this, but like I'm glad that we kept it because what ended up happening was the buyer ended up reaching out to us and saying, actually, a family member just randomly reached out to me and they wanted anything that was left in the house. So we were able to finally give like these ashes over to a family member. So I'm so glad that we were able to do that.
I was like, "Where you at, man? They're in my car. I'll meet you right now." He's like, "I'm at the house." I'm like, "All right, I'm coming over."
Like, please,
I'll be there in 10 minutes.
We will drop these off.
He's like,
right now.
He's like, "They're in your car?" I'm like, "They've been here the whole time, buddy."
I felt so bad, but it's like, what are you supposed to do in that scenario? Like
Nothing.
there's nothing you could do. So,
No.
but
So
but I am glad that somebody ended up reaching out and
yeah,
being
I'm
able
glad I
to.
kept it, man. It's a good story too. It's one of my favorite stories because everybody's like, "Oh my god, what happened?"
Yeah, I
It's
definitely.
almost better than the story of me showing up in a suit, in a full suit, to pick up my first client from the airport, and they did not intend for me to do that at all. But they were blown away by the level of service they got
Yeah,
from Mr. Aaron,
they were wearing sweats and
fresh off the boat from,
from India.
yeah, ready to impress.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Any
that's definitely
that one
our
is
craziest story.
that's
So
for
perfect first one to start off with.
well, yeah, yeah. If you have a crazy story, let us know. We would love to hear from you, and yeah, you can reach out and get on the podcast. Super casual. It's all about the laughs and giggles here. 10-minute episodes, 10 to 15 minutes, easy peasy way to start your day. Super super good. But yes, that was our typical day in real estate. This podcast is again about people, about telling stories that are very, very day to day, very, very average, very, very comedic, and that like are extremely relatable by fellow real estate professionals. So, hope that was helpful, and hope you have a great rest of your day. And we will see you on the next episode.